What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Early Edge. We are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Well, I'll tell you what, we had a legendary recap screen yesterday as we went 15-4-1. But you know how this goes, right? The next day, let's take a look at the recap screen. Hey, listen, me and Larry got our football plays wrong. We could have made this 4-4, but instead, we're 2-6. Mikey B goes 1 for 2. Prop Stars hits his Russell Westbrook under, but everybody else loses. It's a bad day on the recap screen. We got to flip this around to maybe 6-2 with the team that we have today. That team includes you, Joe Neuenfeld. We got Mike McClure in the chat. Pogo Picks is in the chat. Liddy is in the chat. Harry Hunter, Buckets, Martin Green, Tom Casale, and Jeff Hochman. What a crew here on a Thanksgiving Tuesday. Buckets, I give no thanks to you for crushing me in the Splash Sports Contest. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing okay today so far, Sia, but right, we have a proper nip in the air and the kettle's just boiled. It's shaping up to be a right cracking evening of Champions League footy today, isn't it? And would you believe it? Chelsea and Barcelona are both at it as well, so the whole night's bound to be an absolute belter. Damn it! I was doing so good.
That was so good!
Damn it!
That was so good. All right, we'll just clip the front end of that and we'll pretend you finished strong. Martin Green, we've got two soccer guys here. There must be some Champions League group stage stuff going on today and tomorrow. How did you feel about Bucket's impression of, I guess, a British soccer capper? And how you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, Sia. Great to be here. I was just trying to work out what country Buckets was trying to do an impression from. It sounded, I think it started out a bit Jamaican and then it moved to somewhere near India. There was maybe a little bit of Welsh in there, but I definitely like some of the phrases he came out with. And delighted to be sharing a screen with my esteemed colleague, as always. Looking forward to breaking down a couple of big Champions League games. We've got Barcelona, Chelsea today, and then the big one tomorrow, Arsenal versus Bayern Munich. So lots to get our teeth into.
Mike McClure getting in the action. Big fixtures ahead, he says. Danny Brasco in the chat. Guru, do American. That's actually a good call, says Danny Brasco. All right, real quick, Jeff Hochman, I know you've got an NFL pick, which we'll get to later. We also have an NHL SportsLine pick, which I'm going to get your commentary on because we just have the one game. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. See, I love this time of year. We get football today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Love the holidays. For the most part, everyone's in a good mood. So hopefully out some winners today for everybody and this weekend.
All right, let's start with some winners right now. Tom, I'm going to kick things off with you. And the reason I'm starting with you, normally I'd start with Buckets here, is because your line is currently on the move. It's probably because you put it out on SportsLine, and so maybe some people are hitting it. But let's give this out because we know, we don't want to wait the whole show and have this line move 2, 3, 4 points. Talk to me about the pick you put on SportsLine, Indiana minus, 8.5?
Yeah, I played 8.5 last night. Just before we went on the show, it started moving to 10.5. So I said bet it up to 10. There is one 9.5 still out there if you're interested. One of my betting strategies early in the season is to start going against these teams that can't play defense when they go on the road. And you look at Kansas State, they're scoring like crazy, but they're giving up 85.5 points per game in their last 4. And that doesn't usually travel well in true road games. And this is their first true road game. Their defense has just been Swiss cheese. I mean, they gave up 96 to Cal. They gave up 86 to Nebraska. So I think Indiana hasn't really played anybody yet, but I like the roster, and I think they're going to get whatever they want at the rim tonight. So I'm going to lay it here. If you didn't get a good number, there's -6 in the first half you can look at. And if you're looking maybe to put Indiana in a money line parlay, I like St. John's. I thought that number was a little big, though, against Baylor, but I like them to win. And George Mason against FAU. George Mason, to me, if you're looking for a mid-major team that can do some damage in March, that's the team against. So they're about 4.5. So if you go with the Indiana, St. John's, George Mason money line parlay, that's another way you could bet them.
Turn back the clock, 15, 20 years, George Mason doing damage during March Madness. That was a really, really fun time. Okay, so we might have a correction on the recap screen, and apologies. This is going to happen from time to time, sometimes to our benefit, sometimes to our detriment. We didn't go 2-6. We went 1-7, ladies and gentlemen. Eric David pointing out, thank you, Eric. Sorry, clerical error. Ben's doing this every single night, so sometimes some of these are it's very rare, but sometimes they're going to be wrong. It turns out I think Mikey B lost both of his. So we had a terrible day. Again, can't lean on 15-4-1 when you go 1-7. That's just unacceptable. This is the updated recap screen. So hopefully those who caught the beginning of this show are continuing to watch, because we definitely want to get this corrected. We go 1-7. It was just prop stars who got us to win. That is a terrible, terrible day. Hopefully maybe Indiana is our first bounce back. And Tom, I got to tell you, we got a couple of college football games, and I know we did the college football show. Well, not the college football show, the segment with you and Emery yesterday. Later on in the show, I've got just it's not even a take. It's just a lean on one of these teams in the Western Michigan game versus, I guess it would be Eastern Michigan. I want to get your take on where you're leaning. Okay. Let's get to some soccer, though. Martin, I'm going to put you on the back burner for now. I'm going to let British Buckets go. He's got a couple of picks. Buckets, go ahead.
Am I allowed to disagree with you and offer Martin to go first?
Yes, you are, actually.
Martin, I just feel like out of respect, I should at least offer you the ability to go first if you'd like.
It's fair.
Well, thanks for the offer, but no, we're all being polite here. You go.
Oh, a proper top bin thank you to you, Martin, or whatever the hell they say. Listen, guys, we've got Champions League this afternoon, and we've got one matchup in particular that is so good that I have two wagers for the same game. This matchup between Chelsea and Barcelona, I have been screaming this from the rooftops all season long. When you see Barcelona play, you don't have to overthink anything here. Full stop. Right, Martin? Take that, Sia. Take over 3.5 goals at plus 100. Are you kidding me with this line? Barcelona has played 17 fixtures across all competitions this season. They have covered the over 2.5 in 16 of the 17, and they have absolutely been mauling teams since Robert Lewandowski came back. In their last 6 fixtures, we've seen 30 goals from them over their last 20 Champions League games, spanning back the past couple seasons. They've averaged 4.8 goals per game in their Champions League fixtures. And this Chelsea team, I want to give them their flowers. They're doing well this season. They're second on the Premier League table. They are not good enough to stop Barcelona from scoring, but Barcelona is not good enough to stop Chelsea from scoring. I think we see a proper shootout here with goals all over the place. Take both teams to score. Take both teams to score in the first half at plus 200, but you absolutely have to play over 3.5 goals in this game at even money. Second bet for the same game, I think the books have the wrong team favored here. I know that Chelsea is at home, big home field advantage. Enzo's doing great as a manager. It's a good club. They're finding their form here. I don't care. Robert Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha's back, Torres, Lopez, all of these guys are absolutely insane. I have never seen Barcelona over 1.5 team total playable. It's minus 110 right now. I am absolutely slamming that line. And then one other bonus play here for another Champions League matchup. Napoli are hosting Karabag. And I don't fully understand why this is, but the books are constantly disrespecting this Karabag side. I know they're a smaller club out of Azerbaijan. They're just lucky to be here. They're doing significantly better than Napoli in Champions League, and they've scored in every one of their Champions League matches so far. They scored against Athletic Club. They scored against Copenhagen. They scored 2 against Chelsea, and we're acting like this team doesn't deserve to score in this game. BTTS at minus 110 is an absolute gift of a line because Napoli are minus 400 favorites, but everyone's conceding to Karabag right now, so I got to take that look.
All right, let's get to some questions on soccer for you and Martin before we get to even more soccer picks. Jay Long says, Enzo Fernandez 1+ shot on goal at even money buckets.
I'd almost rather take his to score or assist line here because he has been such a good midfielder and creative player that is passing the ball off to players like Liam Delap and Joao Pedro. I'd rather take his to score or assist at better money at like plus 170, but that's just me because sometimes he has his games where he's not going to shoot, but he's going to create chances for 90 minutes.
Martin, Jeff Stenberg wants to know, are we taking Coventry City team total over 1.5 at plus 125?
Yeah, it does look good, maybe for a small bet. Obviously, they are top of the championship. They're playing great this season, but they're coming up against second place Middlesbrough, who have the toughest defense in the league, and they're away from home. So it's not guaranteed, but I do like that price. Plus 125 looks good, maybe for a small stake. Regarding the Chelsea-Barcelona game, I've written an article for it on SportsLine, and I had the same bet, but for a different player. I went with Pedro Neto over 0.5 shots. So at least one shot on target from Pedro Neto. I think that offers more value than Enzo Fernandez. And I agree with Buckets about the over 3.5 goals. I had that too.
Buckets, did you have anything to add there?
Oh, I just wanted to ask if Martin liked the over here. And if Martin, do you have a side on who you think wins this? Is there a lean on either Chelsea or Barca?
It really could go either way. I think they're both evenly matched. I think Barcelona have more firepower in attack. Both teams terrible in defense. I think Chelsea have the stronger midfield. And with home advantage, I'm leaning towards Chelsea, but it really could go either way.
Adam Freed and Thunderstruck are all in on Barca team total over 1.5. And Thunderstruck's adding in a match over 3.5 with a parlay of Barca team total over 1.5 at plus 150. Buckets, I'll start with you here.
I mean, that's both of the plays I just gave out parlay together, so I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that's a fine thing to do.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah. Wait, so okay. Terminology.
Barca is Barcelona. It's
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So is it Barca and not Barca? I just said that wrong.
Barca.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe the chat could help me out and actually just put the full name in there. That would actually be helpful. Okay. So Buckets certainly likes that at plus 150. How do we like, Tom, I'm going to go to you. How do we like Creighton plus 7? No Lipsy in this game.
Yeah, I liked it plus 9.5 a lot more. And now the numbers moved. You could probably get a heads up that he wasn't going to play yesterday when he hobbled back out. He's got an ankle injury. I don't think it's a terrible matchup for Creighton. I worry, though, they've had issue with turnovers. And there's certain teams, if they're going to turn you over, it's very tough to beat them. And Iowa State is at the top of that list. If they're turning Creighton over a lot today and getting buckets in transition, I actually think it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game. So I lean over there.
Buckets in transition. Jeff Hochman, let's get to some NFL picks. We got more soccer picks we're going to get to, and of course, Martin's picks, but also your questions. Jeff, we saw the 49ers play yesterday, and after Brock Purdy's second interception, I was like, all right, Mac Jones is probably better than this. After his third interception, I was like, all right, if they weren't playing the Panthers, Mac Jones might be entering this game. Either way, now Brock Purdy gets the Cleveland Browns. What do you like in that game?
Yeah, thanks, Sia. We have San Francisco at Cleveland, 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS, of course, locally. I like Cleveland in this spot. This seems like a really sleepy spot for the San Francisco 49ers, obviously playing on a short week, 10 a.m. body clock. And I was watching the game and I'm like, wow, it seems like their offense is on the field for a long time, and they were 70 plays, which is not egregiously over, but it was almost 38 minutes of possession time. The average team runs about 58 to 62 plays in the NFL. And the weather forecast looks to be wet and cold, and certainly Cleveland is more accustomed to playing in those conditions. And then you look at Cleveland's defense. I mean, they are really good. We all know that, especially at home. They're averaging 4.1 yards per play against. That's tied with Green Bay for the best home mark. Cleveland's third in sack percentage, third in defensive pressures, of course, led by Myles Garrett, who's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year once again. He has 18 sacks in 11 games. The back end, solid. Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson Jr. playing really well. They have that rookie linebacker, Schwesinger. He may be DPOY this year. Cleveland is number 1 in opponent passer rating at home. I think they're going to really shut down San Francisco. Shedeur Sanders, the team looked energized with him running the show. I mean, you had guys cheering for him. I didn't see any of that when Dylan Gabriel was the quarterback. This is also a solid system. Now, I did put it in at SportsLine yesterday. I got 6.5. It's down to 6 pretty much everywhere. But underdogs of 6.5 or more with a total of 42 or less in weeks 10 to 15 cash just under 58%. That's over a huge sample size. Give me the Cleveland Browns plus 6.5 at home this Sunday, and I think it's going to get there.
Cleveland fan says Browns money line, and he says no bias here.
Yeah, sprinkle a little on the money line. I already did that. I like that. That's in play as well. Cleveland will be in my money line parlay article that comes out on Wednesdays at cbssports.com.
I have a feeling Christian McCaffrey is just going to get a ton of work like he always does against this Cleveland defense. With BetMGM's hat trick jackpot, by the way, we're going to get to a hockey pick in just a second where Jeff is going to comment on as well. With BetMGM's hat trick jackpot, you have the chance to win your share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Just place an anytime goal score wager, and if your guy scores 3+ goals during that game, you will win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. And don't forget to pre-register for BetMGM if you live in Missouri, which I know some of you in the chat do, because last time I read this, some of you popped up there. Sign up for BetMGM during the pre-registration period right now, and you will receive $100 in bonus bets on the first day BetMGM Sports goes live in Missouri, plus get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. We got more NFL to get to, believe it or not, for Thanksgiving. I got a prop to drop. We've got more NHL to get to. In fact, here's a cliffhanger. Jeff, I'm going to give out the SportsLine pick, and when we come back from break, we're going to go to your analysis of that pick, and then Martin Green, we're going to have you give out your picks. Matt Severance on SportsLine has the Edmonton Oilers money line -140. For the record, I'm looking, and I see you can find at some major books this at -135, maybe even better, but it's in that -135, -140 range, and this is Matt Severance's pick. Jeff, I need your analysis of this game right after this message from our partners.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But thanks to CBS Sports, you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
We are back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Jeff, there's only one hockey game tonight, and it just so happens we have a SportsLine pick on it. Listen, you don't have to agree with the Matt Severance play. I do want your analysis on this game either way.
Yeah, I do agree. Do you remember a couple of years ago in the NFL when teams playing the San Francisco 49ers in games right after, they were like 0-15 straight up and like 2-13 against the spread? It's a similar reason why teams in the NHL are 4-13 after playing the Florida Panthers. Of course, they're back-to-back champions. Teams are getting fired up to face them and have a letdown in the next game. Florida also is ranked 3rd in hits, so they're very physical as well. So why do I like Edmonton in this matchup? Edmonton usually kicks it in gear this time of year. They start slow every year, and right around Thanksgiving is when they start kicking it in gear. I think playing Florida, since they're the team that lost to Florida back-to-back years in the Stanley Cup Finals, I think it's going to have an opposite effect. I think this is going to propel Edmonton to a winning streak. So I do like Edmonton. I agree with Matt Severance. I see -132 at some books. So, yeah, I'm on Edmonton as a strong lean.
Okay, we like Edmonton as a SportsLine pick, and Jeff Hochman backs it up as well with a strong lean. Martin Green, we gave you, I should say, Buckets gave you the opportunity to kick things off. You deferred, but now, my friend, it's your time.
Thank you very much, Sia. The first game I'm looking at takes place in Turkey. Galatasaray really should extend their winning streak to 4 Champions League games when they host Belgian side Union Saint-Gilloise today. They've already beaten Liverpool at home this year, and Galatasaray then thumped Bodo Glimt and Ajax in their last 2 games. They've got a great deal of momentum right now. They have a very strong home record, and they have a lot of firepower, especially like really high quality players like Leroy Sané in attack. So I think they should outgun USG, who have lost their last 3 Champions League matches. Keeping it simple and just going with the Galatasaray money line win at -135. Could probably go for Galatasaray to win and over 1.5 goals if you want a bit more value there. The other game I'm looking at takes place in Germany, where Borussia Dortmund host Villarreal. This should be an entertaining game between 2 really strong teams. Over 2.5 goals has paid off in all 4 of Dortmund's Champions League matches so far this season. They've actually scored 13 times in 4 matches, but they've also conceded 11. That works out at 6 goals per game. So they're the most entertaining and high scoring and worst defensive team basically in the competition. They drew 3-3 with Stuttgart at the weekend. that game for me just really underlined their attacking dynamism, but also their defensive frailties. And I think Villarreal could cause problems for Dortmund's struggling defense. They're up to third in La Liga after beating Mallorca 2-1 at the weekend. They've scored 2 goals per game in La Liga this season. They're doing great in their domestic league, but they've been poor in the Champions League. They really need to replicate that form that they've shown in their domestic league. I think they have a great opportunity to do it against Dortmund. Should be a really entertaining, high-scoring game. So another simple bet, over 2.5 goals at -138.
All right, a couple of picks from the guru. Buckets, I got to go back to you. There's some questions in the chat about Barca over 1.5 team total. No, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? All right, go ahead, Buckets.
Real quick before I hit you, question for the guru here. In that Dortmund match, the line's moving pretty aggressively already. Would you be comfortable adding both teams to score there to get even money, or are you afraid Dortmund kind of stomps them 3-0 here?
No, that's a good shout. Thanks, Buckets. Yeah, I would be comfortable with a both teams to score and over 2.5 goals there. That's a really good way to get a bit more value on this. I went with over 2.5 goals because I put that pick on SportsLine earlier this week, and SportsLine doesn't give you the opportunity to add in both goals. But yeah, I would definitely go with both teams to score because I think both defenses are really poor, and it should be a high scoring game.
I'll leave it to Martin Green to thank Buckets for asking the question. It's just perfectly Martin Green. I've got a prop to give out, and then we're going to close the show with some more questions from the chat. Still a lot of soccer questions out there, but other questions as well. Tom, I want to get your lean on the Western Michigan game, -7.5. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. You guys know I like completions props. I like pass attempts props. I'm going to go with Mahomes over 23.5 completions. This one a little juicy at -132. I think you can find this line at FanDuel, but a couple of books have this at 23.5 as opposed to 24.5. You're just going to have to pay juice somewhere in the -135-ish range. So Patrick Mahomes has hit this number in 6 of his last 8 games. We know what the Kansas City Chiefs passing attack does. They paper cuts you to death with the short area attack. We're not seeing extended downfield stuff to guys like Xavier Worthy or even Rashee Rice. And it's a successful way that the Kansas City Chiefs run their offense. They had a ton of rushing attempts last week against Indianapolis. I don't really see that happening this week. But what's funny about last week is, what was it? Kareem Hunt had 30 rushing attempts. It went to overtime, mind you. Patrick Mahomes still hit this completions prop. I don't think that they're going to try to run the ball a ton, at least not that much against with Pacheco back even. I don't think they're going to run that much against the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're going to try to expose the Cowboys back end. Remember, that front seven's a little bit better since all of the trades. Long story short, 23.5, even 24.5, if you're getting a plus number attached to it. I see Patrick Mahomes getting there. I think Dallas is going to quick strike Kansas City here and there, but ultimately I think Kansas City is going to have long extended drives, the ability to convert on third down, and those extended drives are going to come via the short area pass attack and not via the run. Give me Patrick Mahomes over 23.5 completions. All right, let's get to some more questions here. Let's see. Jeff. Oh, okay. No, we're not going to ask that question. Let's see. Jeff, any thoughts on Leon Draisaitl over 2.5 shots on goal at -125?
Yeah, I would look to the over there, but I do not lay more than 125 on that one.
Gotcha. All right, let's see. Eric David says, Guru, hope all is well in London. Is our Thanksgiving just a Thursday? Oh, do you celebrate Thanksgiving is what he's asking. No, obviously.
The English don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They don't give thanks to the Native Americans for sharing with them back in the day. But I lived in America for a few years as a kid, so I celebrated Thanksgiving then. So I kind of have a low-key Thanksgiving celebration over here. So yeah, there will be a slight, but it won't be quite as elaborate as what you guys are doing.
Buckets, before you add on to that was one of those where I'm just reading the question, and then once I'm done reading the question, I internalize what the actual question is. So sorry for actually asking you that, but I did correct myself there. Buckets, go ahead.
I don't know if this is going to be a dumb question, Martin, but in the UK, do you have holidays, or is it kind of like is there stuff you celebrate?
Well, I mean, Christmas and Easter are both quite a big deal over here. But yeah, that's about it really. But in the UK, you have to get a statutory 5 weeks paid annual leave, so you don't have as many just random days off. But everyone has to have at least 5 weeks, whereas I think you only get about a week or two in the States, don't you?
Wait, so, you are mandated? Like, if I wanted to work through that, I wouldn't be able to work through that?
It's mandated. Yeah, correct.
Oh, geez. Can you imagine me not being able to do the early edge? No, thanks. No, thank you. All right, let's Tom, I do want to get to Western because we do have football today, and we'll see if we have any lingering soccer questions, I should say. Otherwise, we'll just get out of here after I ask you this. I watched Western Michigan play last week. I mean, they're 7-4. They're a decent team. They're playing Eastern Michigan. They're laying 7.5. It should be, in my opinion, it should be a relatively low-scoring game. I love this Western Michigan defense, and I like their rushing attack. I think that hook is just baiting people into maybe taking Eastern Michigan. I think Western Michigan wins this game by 10 or more. It's not an official pick, and I haven't watched a ton of Western Michigan, admittedly. I'm just curious, because we have football tonight, if you have a take on that game.
Yeah, well, first of all, Martin, if there's any rentals over there, can you send me the listings? I got to move to the UK. 5 weeks, I'm all in on that. So you look at this game. So Western Michigan 7-1 since mid-September. Their only loss was at Miami of Ohio, which is a good loss. If you're not familiar with Eastern Michigan, they're kind of like the poor man's Iowa. At home, teams go there, and there's block punts, and weird stuff happens that kind of keeps them in games there. But looking at it, the game overall, Western Michigan is clearly the better team, and this is a rivalry game. I agree with you. The 7.5, I think, is a touch high, but this could be something where maybe you bet Western Michigan live if Eastern Michigan goes down, kicks a field goal early. I just don't know how Eastern Michigan scores a lot here.
Yeah.
I think, they got to hold Western Michigan to 17.
Right. Any thoughts on the other game? UMass, I think, is getting 14.5 points against Bowling Green.
Yeah, I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to say it on the show tonight, and I say it every week. I'm not taking UMass. Ever.
Yeah.
If you look at North Dakota State and Montana State are the two best teams in FCS, they would be favored over UMass. That's how bad UMass is. Now, I know Bowling Green is having a terrible season, Eddie George in his first year there, but this is a game I think they know they can win at home. Listen, UMass is so bad, I just can't. I couldn't tell anybody to put money on them.
And I didn't think Bowling Green looked bad last week either. I think that's it for the college football questions. Before we get to the recap screen, Buckets and Martin, I'll go to you. Any questions we missed in soccer?
Martin, you can go first.
I've been trying to field them as we've been going. I think we've covered everything. We're going to be back on tomorrow. I think I'm back on tomorrow, so we'll discuss Wednesday games then. But yeah, if you've got any more about Tuesdays, quickly hit them in the comments and I'll answer them.
See, we got one question in the chat from Raymond Jones saying, Buckets or Martin, any thoughts on Ajax versus Benfica, doubled chance and total combination with the total goals being under 3.5? It's juiced at -150. If I were you, there are two games that I have no interest in betting on today. It's Ajax versus Benfica and it's Bodo Glimt versus Juventus. Two matchups that are just incredibly hard to read. Benfica's 35th on the Champions League table. Ajax is 36th, so it's the two worst teams in UCL right now. I think Benfica's the better of the two sides, Martin, but I don't really see a ton of value there. Maybe you take Pavlidis to score or assist for Benfica, but I'm not doing any kind of over or under parlay. That's just not something I'm interested in.
Gentlemen, you're both on the show tomorrow? Buckets, you are too? Excellent. And by the way, the show that Tom Casale, and I'll get to you, Jeff, real quick. Tom Casale was referencing was Primetime Pregame. He's going to be on there tonight breaking down some, I think, college football and college basketball. I'll be on there at the end of Primetime Pregame to talk about some NFL picks. Jeff, close us out. What do you got?
Yeah, someone was asking if I like a parlay with the Browns and the Edmonton Oilers tonight, and you have my full endorsement on that one.
All right. Parlay with the Browns and Edmonton tonight. Yeah, it looks like we're on Edmonton tonight. It looks like that's going to be a play on SportsLine, and Jeff, a play you're considering as well. Let's take a look at the recap screen. It's a rebound day for us after a terrible recap screen. This one's for Thursday. It's my first of probably 2 or 3 NFL props for Thursday. Patrick Mahomes over 23.5 completions, -132. Chelsea versus Barcelona over 3.5 goals at even money, and Chelsea versus Barcelona over 1.5 team total at -110. Napoli versus Karabag, both teams to score -110. Those are all from Buckets. Galatasaray money line -135 from Martin Green, and Dortmund versus Villarreal over 2.5 goals -138. We go to college basketball. Tom Casale says Indiana -8.5. And then we go back to the NFL where Jeff Hochman says Cleveland Browns +6.5. And our sports line pick is hockey related, and it's backed by Jeff Hochman, at least from a strong lean standpoint. But the official play is from Matt Severance. It's Edmonton Oilers money line -140. 40. Some programming notes, everybody. We're going to be with you Thursday and Friday through Thanksgiving, of course. Also, Fantasy Football Today DFS will be going tomorrow morning right after this show. So it's going to be a busy morning with the Early Edge, Fantasy Football Today DFS, and then the College Football Picks show on CBS Sports Network, I believe, at 12 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolutely great show. Jeff, thank you. Tom, thank you. Martin Buckets, we'll see you tomorrow. And Ben, thanks very much on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Early Edge.